London AIM-listed engineering service company Plexus Holdings, which specialises in wellhead technology built around its own patented designs on its pos-grip friction grip method of wellhead engineering, has recently raised £6 million to strengthen its balance sheet. Ben van Bilderbeek is chief executive and he joins us now. Ben, welcome. First of all, explain what it is you've got, your USP within this business.
We are a supplier of wellhead equipment, which is the end connection on a deep oil well or gas well, which allows you to connect the safety equipment to the well, such as the blowout preventer or the Christmas tree. And what is unique about our system, which is completely different in the method that we employed from what has been used over the last 100 years, is that we use the elasticity of material to shrink the outer housing onto the support device for the casing, which is called the casing hanger. And by doing so, we effectively grip the inner body so hard that it becomes part of the outer housing, so that it can support the weight, and it automatically sets a metal-to-metal seal, which we can test to 20,000 psi gas pressures.
The oil industry, it's well noted that the oil industry has gone through a very bleak period. And I mentioned at the top you've raised £6 million. Explain the health of the company at the moment, bearing in mind we've seen a big drawback in companies wanting to invest in new wells. I mean, obviously it's a big issue for Plexus.
We supply some very critical equipment and in the North Sea in particular, where the standards are very high, we had a great market share for the high pressure, high temperature market. So when exploration drilling dropped off the shelf or dropped off the of the levels at the end of 2015, we were affected.
You've raised £6 million. Why £6 million, first of all? What was it special about that particular figure?
In fact, we took the view that the company, which always has been without any debt, would have to, in our mind, in our corporate mind, bridge a period where the market would have to return to somewhere of its previous levels. Now, I'm personally a believer that the adjustment that the market suffered is not actually driven by an imbalance in supply and demand, but was actually a geopolitical move by certain governments who got together in order to achieve goals that are maybe difficult to describe. So I don't know when this adjustment is going to move back into our favor, which would mean that we need more exploration drilling. So the £6 million is part of a plan that we set up to raise around £10 million worth of a cushion, which we wanted to apply towards having a safety cushion, as well as being able to continue to afford to invest in research and development.
So what do you say then to investors about where the company is now? If we can bring up the share price, you can see a little bit more about what's been happening. And I think the most recent drop was at the beginning of this year. I know that when you told investors that obviously there had been this, the fact that the market wasn't acting as you had expected to act, and you were issuing that warning at the time. Your shares are now 70.4 pence. What do you tell investors about where the company is? Because you moved out of this period with an interesting development. You've now got a partnership in Russia, haven't you, I believe, which previously you hadn't really...
Yeah, in the first place, Plexus has over the past 10 years developed its product line to have and has expanded that in applications into production wellhead drilling, subsea wellhead drilling, and of course the jack-up rental systems that we excel in the North Sea. In fact, in the high pressure, high temperature market, we just about have all the business in the North Sea, and that has to be quite remarkable, bearing in mind that we in this business compete against companies that are indeed very large. Our main competitors are now Schlumberger, Technip, Aker, companies like Drillquip, and companies like GE, who have tremendous capabilities around the world, and yet as a small company with a year ago 150 employees and now with about 75, 80 employees, we still command the respect to the point that customers know that they have to come to us when it involves high pressure, high temperature drilling from jack-up rigs. So we are very positive about the future of the company, but the company has to be on a stable footing financially, bearing in mind that a lot of businesses have gone out of business in the last couple of years, and our customers need to have the confidence that a company like Plexus supplying this critical equipment is going to be around to support our commitments.
So you've moved into Russia now. What extra business is this going to give you?
Well, sorry, I didn't actually reply to your earlier questions. Yes, in respect of Russia, over the last 2.5 years, we have been working on a relationship with a partner who had proven in the past to be very capable of developing technology in the pipeline field. They are specialists in pumping stations and large diameter low pressure valves for the pipeline work that is going on in Russia, between Russia and China, and other pipelines that are being planned towards Turkey and so on. And this company developed an ambition to become involved in offshore drilling. In Russia, most of the equipment used offshore is still imported, and because of the inconvenience of sanctions that had been imposed on the Russian government because of political tensions, the oil and gas industry has been impeded. So a program to create an import replacement program was instituted, and we have participated with that, but only in those areas of participation where we are allowed to work within the sanction regime. And the sanction regime leaves actually a lot of scope for companies like us to supply equipment. Anything in less than 150 meter water depth, anything to do with gas drilling, anything outside the Arctic Circle is allowed. And for Plexus, which is still a very small company, we only need a small amount of work of the huge amount of investment that each year is being made in Russia to do very well. As an example, Rosneft has to drill 2,500 wells a year just to produce at the same level they're producing now, and that is their ambition. So the amount of work that is available that we can reach out for through our Russian partners is very, very large indeed.
And you're happy that the appetite is there for Russia to deal with these Russia partners? You're happy that there is going to be a demand for your products in Russia? Absolutely, because where it comes to critical surface equipment, wellheads in applications where there's high corrosion, wellhead systems where gas tight sealing is necessary for higher pressures and higher temperature, we believe that we not only have very good equipment to be able to meet the technical standards, but we can make this equipment through our partners in Russia. We can replace imports and cause and deliver huge savings in addition to improving the technical capability of the equipment. So we tick all the boxes. Just one final question. I want to go back to the point you made about the fact your competitors and the companies that give you such respect, such as GE and Schlumberger, you're talking about really large, massive companies. Do you see yourself remaining independent, or do you think there is an opportunity down the road to come to some sort of agreement where ultimately you'll be taken over? Well, I'm not sure if I gave you the impression that I think that GE and the likes give us a lot of respect. I think that they probably see us more as an irritant because to have to somehow concede that in this very high pressure, high temperature sector, Plexus does so well, is of course something that may not fit very comfortably. The Russian operators haven't got the same historical relationship with existing equipment and are maybe a little bit more open-minded. Yeah, okay. So how do you see the future then for Plexus? Well, the future for Plexus, and it has always been my ambition to make this technology an important part of the safety regime that I believe needs to be improved over time, is to continue to explain to our users that our technology has great merit in terms of improved quality,
and in terms of the economic factors that we introduce, such as time savings and so on. So we are an independent company at the moment, and there is no indication that we are going to move away from that. But what we want to do is to spread the application of the technology to more product ranges.
Okay, well, look, we wish you well, and thanks indeed for coming in to explain Plexus Holdings. That is the Chief Executive of Plexus, Ben van Bilderbeek.